This class is presented to you by Dr. Adam Cohen, teacher at the Tureya Ashram in India.
Mobility within the hips is one of the foundational physical developments of the yoga practice. This is because when the hips become very flexible, we are easily able to come into a seated posture upon the ground. This seated posture is then used for higher spiritual techniques like meditation or pranayama practices, which require a nice firm foundation upon the earth. Therefore, when we're dealing with opening the hips, we're starting the very foundation of our physical yogic practice. Begin the practice seated on the ground. Bring the bottoms of your feet together and then place the hands on the tops of the feet. Draw the heels in towards the groin. Then, with the knees separated, begin to pulsate the knees up and down, trying to work the knees towards the earth on their corresponding side. The right knee is going to move towards the right earth, the left knee towards the left earth. With the knees pulsating, feel the stretch through the hips. Begin to bring circulation into the hip joints as blood flow increases, providing greater activity and support for the muscles within the hips. Now release this practice, straighten your legs. With your legs straight, separate the feet about 20 to 30 centimeters apart, which is approximately 1 foot. Now, as you exhale, try to bring the inner arches of the feet towards the ground, which is going to move the big toes towards one another. This movement is going to come through the hips. Then, open the outsides of the feet towards the ground as you inhale, which is going to externally rotate through the hips. So, internal, external rotation of the hips, moving with the breath. Exhale, the insides of the feet move towards the earth, big toes move towards one another. Inhale, the outsides of the feet work towards the earth as the big toes move away from each other. Isolate through the hips and bring the feet as close to the earth as we can. The insides of the feet when they move in, and the outside of the feet as the feet move out. Now relax. With the legs straight, we're going to separate them as wide apart from one another as we comfortably can. Again, the legs need to stay straight. Keep the ankle joints flexed to a 90-degree angle, and then slightly externally rotate through the hips so that the outsides of the feet are working towards the earth. Now with the feet separated wide, place the hands on the ground in between the thighs. We're going to activate the hips through the pelvis. So we're going to walk the hands forward as we exhale, but we're going to guide the movement of the upper body through the pelvis. So when you come forwards through the upper body, try to direct the movement through the pelvis. Then as you inhale, walk the hands back in towards the upper thighs, the ground in between the upper thighs, as you lift the upper body back up to upright. So exhale, walk the hands out and away, as the upper body leans forward into a forward bend, stretching through the inner groins. This is where we should really feel it, on the insides of the hips. And then inhale as you raise back up to seated upright. The hands on the ground just along the inside of the upper thighs. Following the breath, continue. Exhale, walking the hands forward. Inhaling, walking the hands back. Letting the movement of the arms and the hands guide the movement of the upper body. Keep the spine nice and straight, long and tall, to ensure, again, isolation of the movement to the pelvis. Now relax. Bring the legs to cross-legged pose, and then from here we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So the easiest way to do this is to walk the hands out upon the earth, roll onto the knees, and now we're on our hands and our knees. This is going to form a table-like posture with the body. The wrists directly underneath the shoulders, the knees directly underneath the hips, into a table-like pose. Now, bring your knees together with the hands still separated at about hips distance. No movement now through the upper body or the pelvis. We're just going to isolate through the leg and the hip that we're working on. As you inhale, lift the right knee and the leg out to the right as high as you can without also lifting the pelvis. Keep the knee joint bent at a 90-degree angle. Exhale, release the knee back onto the earth. Same thing on the left side now. Inhale as you lift the knee and the left leg out to the left, again without moving through the rest of the body. Then exhale as you release the left knee back onto the earth. Alternating right and left, moving with the breath, inhaling, lifting the knee and the leg as high as you can out to the side without changing the structure of the rest of your body, especially the pelvis. One more on each side, finishing with the left leg. Then relax. Tuck the toes from table pose and then press back into downward dog, forming a triangle-like shape through the body. We're not going to be in downward dog for long because we're going to step the left foot forward in between the hands. With the left foot forward in between the hands, we're going to come into a deep lunge with the left knee bent at about a 90-degree angle and the right leg nice and straight. Lift the arms up towards the sky as you also raise the upper body up. Straight line from the right heel to the right hip. Hips are facing forward and your chest is facing forward. Right heel is off the earth. And then just sink down into this lunge as deep as you can go without bending the right knee or lowering the knee to the earth. But you can bend deeply through the left leg. Holding here for just a moment. Then release the hands to the earth just outside the left foot where they were previously before we raised up out of the lunge, and then step the left foot back next to the right, coming back into downward dog. Stretch and lengthen fully through downward dog before stepping the right foot forward now between the hands. The right foot forward between the hands. Left leg straight now, right knee's bent. The right knee is directly above the right ankle. Lift the upper body upright, coming all the way up through the upper body, arms lifted up towards the sky, and then once again, sink as deeply as you can into the bent right knee while keeping the left leg perfectly straight, pressing through the left heel and lengthening through the left leg. Now release the hands to the ground once again outside the right foot. Step the right foot back next to the left, press back into downward dog. From downward dog, we're going to walk the feet forward in between the hands. Then you can lift the hands a little bit away from the earth and you're going to heel toe separate the feet from one another until the feet come to about the width of your mat. With the feet at the width of your mat, you're going to bring your triceps to the insides of your knees. So the upper portions of the arms, just the outside upper portions of the arms, are going to touch the insides of your knees. Then draw your hands to prayer towards the heart. This is now going to press the triceps into the inner knees, which is then going to stretch the groins. Try to draw the shoulders back, lift the head, and as you do so, pull the elbows back as if you're trying to bring them behind the upper back, which is going to put a lot of stress and stretching into the inner hips. Then exhale, straighten the arms, press the knees into the triceps now, chin to chest, and arch your spine so that the upper back is lifting towards the sky. Holding here for a moment. Then once again, press the triceps into the knees, draw the hands towards the heart at prayer, and stretch through the inner groins by engaging them with the activity of the arms. Lengthen the spine, lift the head. And once again, exhale, straighten the arms, press the knees into the triceps, drop the chin in towards the chest, and then lift the spine up towards the sky. Then, straighten the legs, come into a gentle forward bend. The feet will be wide, that's okay. Then from your tailbone to your head, lift your upper body all the way up to standing. Now, come to the width of your mat so that you can use your whole mat for the next practice. Separate the feet about a meter apart. If you're shorter, it's going to be a little bit less than that. We're going to come into Trikonasana, one of the variations. For this variation, the feet are separated. Now turn your right toes out so that they're at a 90-degree angle from their previous position. They're now pointing out towards the right wall or towards the front of your mat. Try to center the foot so that it's in a nice even line through the rest of the body. It shouldn't be too far back or towards the back side of your mat or the front, because in a proper distance is going to make it difficult to align this posture properly. So now we have the alignment good. Let's gently now bend the right knee. Otherwise, if you're familiar with the full practice, you can keep the knee straight. Reach out from fingertip to fingertip. Keep your chest and hips facing forward in the direction of the direction in which the left toes are pointing. And then exhale as you stretch out to the right, beginning to lower the right hand towards the inside of the right leg, while keeping the hips and the chest facing forward the whole time. Don't tilt or pivot through the upper body. All you're going to be doing is shifting the pelvis so that the left hip is lifted a little bit higher than the right, and the upper body is leaning out to the right. Ground firmly through the outside of the left hip or the left foot, and observe the deep stretch through the inner right groin. Then inhale, come back up. Turn the right toes back to their neutral position. Return that foot right to where it was at the beginning. If you need to, make adjustments so that the feet are nice and balanced. And now turn the left toes out. Again, try to make it centered. So the position of the left foot should just be centered to where it just was, but now it's going to be turned out to a 90-degree angle. So the center of the foot is going to be in the exact same location. The left toe is turned out. Reach out from fingertip to fingertip. The hips and chest facing in the exact same direction that they were just in. And then, if you need to, bend the left knee for extra support through the legs, or if you know the full variation, keep the legs straight. And then exhale, begin to extend into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Sliding the left hand down the inside of the left leg. If you can, coming all the way to the earth. Keep your spine nice and straight, but it can begin to tilt out to the left while raising that right hip a little bit higher than the left, pressing down through the left hip until you find a really good stretch through the inner left hip. Then come back up to standing. Bring your feet together, close your eyes, and gently observe the sensation you're having within the hips. From here, you can either continue with another practice or come to resting on your back in Shavasana, staying there for several minutes until reactivating the body. Namaste. You can find more free resources on yoga, including videos, audios, and articles on our website, studyofyoga.org. We believe that spiritual knowledge can change the world and bring forth a new path for humanity to become integrally connected to themselves and the world in which they live.